Now let's look at factor and remainder theorem. So what is a factor? A factor is a number of a number n, is any number n that can divide number n without a remainder. Well, let's explain what that means. For example, you know that 1, 2, 4 and 8 are all factors of 8. And why is that? So let's consider 8 divided by 1, 8 divided by 2, 8 divided by 4 and 8 divided by 8. So this gives me 8, this gives me 4, this gives me 2 and this gives me 1. You can see that when I divide 8 by these numbers, my remainder is what? 0. There is no remainder. So I can say 1, 2, 4 and 8 are all factors of 8. Now if we think about say 8 divided by 3, now I know that this is going to be equal to what? 2 and the remainder is going to be 2. So in this case, the remainder is 2. 8 in 3 is 2 in 6, so I'm left with 2. So 2 remainder 2. So since there is a remainder when I divide 8 by 3, then 3 is not a factor of 8. So how do we know if a polynomial is, if a term is a factor in a polynomial? So all we need to know is by dividing by that term, and if the remainder is 0, we know that it's a factor. So for example, I have to divide this by this, so let's divide that with our long division. So we have x squared minus 5x plus 6, and we're dividing it by x minus 3. So what can go here? We have x here, and x times x will give me x squared, and x times 3 will give me minus 3x. So minus both, and we have x squared minus x squared will give me 0. Minus 5x minus minus turn to plus, so I'm left with minus 2x plus 6. Then what do I have? Minus 2x divided by x will give me minus 2. So minus 2 times x will give me minus 2x, and minus 2 times minus 3 will give me what? Plus 6. And when I subtract both, I'll have 0. So as you can see, when I divide this by this, the remainder is 0. Therefore, x minus 3 is a factor of x squared minus 5x plus 6. Now let's check out the other example here, and we have worked out this before, but we're going to do it again for the sake of clarity. So we have x cubed plus 8 divided by x squared minus 2x plus 4. So what do we have here? We have x times this will give me what? X cubed minus 2x squared, then plus 4x. So when we minus now, we have x cubed minus x cubed, which give me 0. We have no term for x squared and x here, so we can just say minus times minus, so we are left with 2x squared. I explained better when we solved it previously, so you can look through it again. Then we have minus times plus here, so we have minus 4x, and I can bring down my 8 to have plus 8. So now what other term am I left with? I'm left with, so I can divide this by this and have plus 2, and 2 times gives me 2x squared minus 4x plus 8. So when I minus, I get what? 0. So again, the remainder when I divide x cubed plus 8 by x squared minus 2x plus 4, the remainder is 0. Therefore, x squared minus 2x plus 4 is a factor of x cubed plus 8. Now let's talk about the zeros of a polynomial. So this represents the value of x for which the polynomial is equal to 0. Again, it can also mean the roots of the equation. So now find the zeros of the polynomial. So now we have a quadratic equation here. So when you are asked to find the zero, it's equivalent to finding the roots of an equation. So now let's try to find the roots of this quadratic equation here. So we have what? X squared minus 5x plus 6, and all we have to do to find the root is to equate it to 0. So now our factorization, you multiply the first term and the last term, and in later videos we are going to explain quadratic factorization in details, but I'm just going to walk through it here quickly. So we have 6x squared. Then you ask yourself, what two numbers would I multiply together in which I will get 6x squared, but if I add and subtract them also, I'll get minus 5x. And you find out that those numbers are what? Minus 3x and minus 2x. So minus 3x times minus 2x will give me 6x squared, and minus 3x minus 2x will give me minus 5x. So I substitute this minus 5x with these two numbers. So I have x squared minus 3x minus 2x plus 6 equals to 0. So what am I left with now? What is common within these two? X is common, and I'm left with what? X minus 3. And I have minus 2 is common with the bracket what? X minus 3. Because when I bring out the minus 2, I have to bring out the minus. Here has to be minus, so that when I expand, I'll get plus 6 is equals to 0. Then I can see that this term here and this term here are equal, so I'll just take one of it, and I'll now take the remaining, which is what? X minus 2 is equals to 0. So what I do now is that I split each of those factors now. So I have x minus 3 is equals to 0 and x minus 2 is equals to 0. So you solve. So in this case, x is equals to 3, and in this case what? X is equals to 2. So the zeros or the root of these polynomials are what? Are 3 and 2. So that is how we go about finding the zeros. So how do we go about this? So for example now, let's look at a specific example. You say, so if you are given the zeros of a polynomial, you can find that polynomial. And what do I mean by that? So like in the previous examples now, where we are asked to find the zeros of the polynomial. So we found that the polynomials are what? The zeros are x is equals to 2 and x is equals to 3, if you recall. So now if you are told that the zeros of a polynomial are 2 and 3, we should find a polynomial. So what do? We just work backwards. So like working backwards in this case will be taking to the other side. So we have what? X minus 2 equals 0. And here taking 3 to the other side, so we have what? X minus 3 equals 0. Then we now multiply the two factors. So we have x minus 2 and x minus 3. Then we expand. So we have x squared minus 3x minus 2x plus 6. And that gives us x squared minus 5x plus 6. So the same ideology applies here. So in this case now, we are told to find the polynomial with zeros 3 minus 1 and 2. So in other words, we are told that the roots are what? X is equals to 3, x is equals to minus 1, and x is equals to 2. So what do? We just bring it to the other side. So we have x minus 3 equals to 0, x plus 1 equals 0, and what? X minus 2 equals 0. So what do? We just multiply those three factors together. So we have x minus 3 times x plus 1 times x minus 2, and we expand. So let's try expanding the first one. So let's say x minus 3, and let's try expanding these two. X times x will give me x squared, x times minus 2 will give me minus 2x, 1 times x will give me x, and 1 times minus 2 give me minus 2. So this is going to say x minus 3 into bracket what? X squared. Then I have what? Minus x. Then I have minus 2. So I can expand this, and this will be x times x squared, which give me x cubed, then minus this times this x squared, then this times this minus 2x, then this times this minus 3x squared, then this times this plus 3x, then this times this, which is what? Plus 6. So when you collect like times, you have what? X cubed, then you have minus x squared minus 3x squared, that will give me what? Minus 4x squared, and you have minus x plus 3x, and that will give me plus x, and you have what? Plus 6. So this is the polynomial in which the zeros or the root of the polynomials are 3, minus 1 and 4 and 2 rather. So now let's move on to the remainder theorem. So if a polynomial f of x is divided by x minus 3, the remainder is f of a. So let's explain what that means. For example, let's divide this by this so we can check out what the remainder is. So do this using the conventional way you are familiar to. So you have 3x squared minus 2x plus 4 divided by x plus 2. So now you say this divided by this. So 3x squared divided by x will give me what? 3x. So if I write 3x here and I multiply by this, I get 3x squared. So 3x times x will give me 3x squared. Then 3x times 2 will give me what? Plus 6x. Then you minus. So when you subtract the 2 now, you have this minus this give you 0. Then minus 2x minus minus 6x. And what would that give me? So that is the same thing as saying minus 2x minus plus 6x will be minus 2x minus 6x, which give me what? Minus 8x. Then I'll bring down this plus 4. So now minus 8x divided by x will give me what? Minus 8. So minus 8 times x will give me what? Minus 8x. And y minus 8 times 2 will give me what? Minus 16. So when I do this now, what do I get? I get minus 8x minus minus 8x give me 0, and 4 minus 6 minus minus 16 will be 4 plus 16, and that is equals to 20. So the remainder when I divide this by this is 20. So since the remainder is not 0, it means that this is not even a factor. But how can I apply the remainder theorem to get what the remainder would be when I divide this by this? So that is what the remainder theorem is all about, and let's try to solve. So the first thing you have to do is to try to, in the divisor, you try to make x the square root of formula. So now you know that what x is equals to x plus 2 is equals to 0. So you know that x is equals to minus 2. So to find the remainder, you will substitute the value of x as minus 2 into the dividend. So now in the dividend, we are given as f of x, which is equals to 3x squared minus 2x plus 4. We'll substitute the value of x is equals to minus 2. So f of minus 2 is the remainder, and that will be 3 into bracket minus 2 squared, then minus 2 into bracket minus 2, then plus 4. And when we do that, we have 3 times minus 2 squared is minus 2 times minus 2, which is 4. Then minus 2 times minus 2 is what? Plus 4. Then we have plus 4. Then 4 times 3 is what? You have 12 plus 4 plus 4. And what did that give you? That gives us what? 20. So when we divide this by this, the remainder is 20. So by using the remainder theorem like we have done here, we found that the remainder is what? 20. So we don't need to go through the stress of using the long division. So let's apply this now to additional examples. So find the remainder when you divide this by this. So as we have talked or we have discussed, what is the first thing you do? First, in your divisor, you write it out and you try to make x the square root of formula. So you say x minus 3 equals to 0. So you know that x will be equals to what? 3. So you substitute the value of x as 3 into the dividend, which is x squared minus 5x plus 6. So I have f of what? 3. And that will be what? 3 squared minus 5 times 3, then plus 6. So now what is 3 squared? 3 squared is 9. Then 5 times 3 is what? Minus 15. Then plus 6. So now what would this give you? So 9 minus 15 plus 6 is same thing as saying 15 minus 15. And what would that give you? That will give you what? 0. So now you can see that the remainder is 0. So what does this tell you? It tells you directly that what this is a factor, because when you divide a number by a factor, the remainder is 0. So this is another tip for you to note. When you divide a number by a factor and use the remainder theorem, you have to get the remainder as being equals to 0. Let's look at, so that pretty much sums up all you need to know about the remainder theorem.